There comes a moment in every man's life when he must decide, will I drift with fear or act with faith? Because the truth is simple. Failure only exists for the man who keeps it as an option. The man who wins does not try to succeed. He acts as though success were already written in his name. The moment you erase failure from your mind, the universe erases it from your path. So for the next few minutes, I want you to imagine something radical. Imagine living one day as if losing were impossible. How would you speak? How would you move? How would you think if you truly believed that destiny had already decided you win? That's the mindset of every builder, every conqueror, every self-made success. They didn't wait for permission. They acted as if failure was never an option, and neither should you. Let's begin. Faith is not a wish. It is not a fragile hope that trembles. When the wind blows, faith is law. It is the silent command that shapes every condition of your life. When a man truly believes, the universe reorganizes itself around that conviction. Doors open where walls once stood. People appear as if summoned. Circumstances shift to match his inner certainty. The weak man says, I'll try. The man of belief says, I will. One word hesitates. The other commands. And the universe, which listens not to your doubts, but to your decisions, obeys the sound of conviction. Look closely at your life. Everything around you, your home, your income, your opportunities, they are mirrors, reflections of what you have believed possible for yourself. If your world feels small, it is because your belief has been small. If your success feels uncertain, it is because your faith has been conditional. Every great man understood this law long before results appeared. Henry Ford believed in his dream when there was no evidence, no investors, no machinery, only faith. When his engineers told him, it cannot be done, Ford didn't argue. He smiled and said, build it anyway. He was not talking to them, he was talking to life itself. And life obeyed. Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before light appeared. Yet he never once called it failure. Each attempt was proof that he was one step closer. That's what faith looks like, not stubbornness, but the refusal to bow before doubt. Andrew Carnegie, born in poverty, declared that wealth was his destiny. He had no money, no name, no education, but he had something far greater belief, so definite that the world itself could not deny it. The average man reverses the law. He says, I'll believe when I see it, but life answers, you'll see it when you believe. He calls this caution, but it is fear dressed as logic. You cannot wait for evidence to believe. Evidence is the shadow that follows faith, not the other way around. Faith is creative power in motion. It shapes matter. It bends chance. It rewrites circumstance. When you believe with absolute certainty, your subconscious begins to work in silence, adjusting every thought, emotion, and habit to fulfill your command. Think of your mind as an architect and your subconscious as the builder. If the blueprint you handed is filled with doubt, don't complain when the house collapses. But if your blueprint declares success as certain, that unseen builder will labor day and night until it becomes real. You are surrounded by the fruits of your own belief. If you think small, you live small. If you think rich, you live rich. Belief is the soil. Your results are the harvest. So ask yourself now, what would your life look like if failure were impossible? What project would you start? What dream would you resurrect? What version of yourself would you finally allow to exist? Because the truth is this: the mind, once convinced of its power, commands results with astonishing speed. You don't need to see the whole path. You only need to decide that the destination is already yours. Start today with one simple act of belief. Each morning, write your definite chief aim not as a hope, but as a statement of fact. I am now creating, I am now earning, I am now becoming. Write it as though it were already complete. Then speak it aloud until your voice carries the tone of certainty. Speak it until doubt becomes unnatural. When you say, I believe without proof, you activate a law older than time itself. Faith precedes fact. It always has. It always will. You may think this is philosophy. It is not. It is physics of the spirit. Every thought vibrates. Every vibration attracts its equal. If your mind radiates faith, you attract circumstances that confirm it. If your mind radiates fear, you attract obstacles to justify it. The universe does not choose sides, it simply reflects. So from this moment on, decide what you will allow it to reflect. Will it mirror your courage or your hesitation? Will it echo your belief or your excuses? Remember this law: the man who doubts himself is already defeated. The man who believes himself chosen cannot be denied. And you, yes, for you listening now, are that man. The moment you decide to be, close your eyes, breathe, and say it aloud: I believe without proof. I act without hesitation. My faith is my evidence. Say it again until your body believes your words. Because the mind commands the body, and the body commands reality. From this day forward, erase failure from the vocabulary of your mind. Erase doubt from the language of your spirit. Speak, act, and walk as though success were your birthright. Because desire is the fire that makes faith come alive. It is the invisible flame that separates the man who wishes from the man who wins. You can study, plan, analyze, and pray, but without desire, you will never move. Desire is motion. Desire is life. Every empire, every invention, every fortune began with a single spark of burning want. The weak man says, I hope this works. The strong man says, it must work because I will not stop until it does. That difference in temperature is everything. Weak desire whispers, strong désir comment. And the universe, which obeys vibration more than words, listens only to the language of fire. Look around. The average man's desire flickers like a candle in the wind. He wants comfort more than conquest. He wants safety more than success. He spends his days feeding distractions, not dreams, and then wonders why his life feels dim. But the man of burning desire, you can see it in his eyes before he speaks. He carries heat. He radiates purpose. He moves as though guided by something unseen. People sense it. Opportunities sense it. Life itself bends toward him because he burns. Every great soul that walked this earth had that flame. Edison had it when the world laughed at his failures. Ford had it when everyone said, horses will never die. Carnegie had it when he was still a poor boy sweeping floors. Their advantage was not birth or money. It was heat. Desire so fierce that no storm could put it out. And that's what you must awaken within yourself. You don't need a miracle. You need a fire. So, How do you ignite it? Start with this truth. You cannot desire vaguely. You must define what you want with such clarity that your mind has no room for confusion. The subconscious does not burn for shadows, it burns for images clear as steel. Write your desire in detail, the amount, the outcome, the purpose, then read it aloud until your pulse quickens. Feel it in your chest. See it before your eyes. Do not say, I want success. Say, I will earn $100,000 through value I create by this date. Do not say, I want to be respected. Say, I command respect through mastery of my work and service to others. Make it vivid, specific, alive, because emotion is the fuel of the subconscious. Dry words are ignored. Burning words become law. Every morning, repeat this phrase until it engraves itself upon your spirit. My desire burns beyond fear. I demand success and life yields. This is not arrogance. It is alignment. The fire within you is the echo of the creative fire that built the stars. When you desire in harmony with growth, the universe amplifies your energy. When you desire against growth for greed, vanity, or envy, the same law turns against you. So make sure your desire serves creation, not destruction. Desire to build, to uplift, to master. Desire not just to take, but to multiply value. The fire that serves others never burns out, it becomes eternal. But here lies the danger. Comfort is the extinguisher of ambition. It whispers, you've done enough, when you've barely begun. It offers pleasure instead of purpose. It makes you forget that the same flame that once built your dream can just as easily go out if neglected. So feed your fire every single day. Feed it with imagination, gratitude, and movement. Picture your dream already real. Feel the reward before it arrives. Give thanks for what is still unseen, because gratitude for the unseen is the highest form of faith. That is how desire becomes magnetic. Barnes, the man who became Edison's partner, did not wait for luck. He felt success before it was visible. He decided he belonged beside greatness, and life rearranged itself to make it true. Desire transforms you into a new being. When it burns strong enough, you cannot drift. You cannot delay. Your habits align. Your sleep shortens. Your words gain weight. You stop asking for permission, because fire doesn't ask, it consumes. But beware of those who live to pour water on your flame. The critics, the mockers, the cynics they call caution wisdom. But it is only fear wearing a mask. One careless conversation can drain your will if you let it. Protect your vision from the cold breath of doubt. Keep your dream private until it is strong enough to stand ridicule. Each night, ask yourself, what did I do today to feed my desire? Did you study? Did you move? Did you act? Because desire dies in neglect. It grows only when exercised. Remember this truth. The tragedy of life is not failure. It is lukewarmness. It is the man who never burns for anything, who drifts between comfort and complaint, never igniting, never inspiring. So men vanish unnoticed because they never set the world alight. Better to burn out in purpose than to rust in safety. The ashes of effort are sacred. The dust of hesitation is worthless. So write this law upon your mind. The man with fire in his heart will always defeat the man with fear in his mind. Tonight, before you sleep, close your eyes and feel that flame in your chest. See it grow brighter with every breath. Whisper, I will have this. I must have this. I already possess this. Fall asleep with that thought, and your subconscious will begin to build your destiny while you rest. Because the world does not bow to talent, of luck, or opportunity. It bows to fire. There comes a moment in every man's life when he must draw a line across his path and say, from this point forward, there is no retreat. Until that moment, he drifts. After that moment, he begins to live. Decision is the bridge between wishing and winning. It is the point where thought transforms into destiny. The average man plays with options like a child with toys, choosing, unchoosing, reconsidering, delaying. But the man who decides once and for all becomes unstoppable. The law is simple. Energy leaks through hesitation. Every maybe drains your spirit. Every what if dilutes your will. When you leave doors open behind you, your mind keeps glancing back, and no man can move forward while looking behind him. The one who burns his ships commands his destiny. He cannot retreat. So he must advance. He cannot fail. So he must find a way. Andrew Carnegie decided once that he would master steel. From that moment, every thought, every relationship, every hour of labor served that single purpose. He didn't wonder. He didn't ask permission. He didn't look for guarantees. He decided, and that decision became law. Abraham Lincoln decided once to preserve the Union. When critics mocked him, when war tore the country apart, when even his allies wavered, he did not. He said simply, I cannot go back. That is the sound of destiny speaking through a man. When you decide completely, fear loses its teeth. Uncertainty dissolves. The mind becomes quiet because there is no longer a debate inside it. You are no longer asking, should I? You are declaring, I must. Understand this truth. You don't need perfect timing. You don't need perfect conditions. You need a decision so firm that time and conditions must adjust to it. Write this law on your heart. The universe assists the man who commits half-hearted action, receives half-hearted support. Full commitment unlocks full power. So right now, make your decision sacred. Take out a sheet of paper and write your definite chief aim. Then beneath it, list every distraction, every excuse, every soft habit that keeps you from it. Now strike them out with bold ink. That is not symbolic. That is spiritual surgery. You are cutting off escape. You are burning the bridge. You will feel it. A strange calm follows the act. Because once the mind knows there is no retreat, it becomes brilliant. It begins to invent, to persist, to attract, to fight because it must. Decision is peace. Indecision is torment. The undecided man wakes up tired, sleeps restless, and walks in circles. He asks the same questions for years and mistakes motion for progress. But the decided man wakes with clarity. He knows what today demands. He knows where he is going and what he must do. He doesn't wait for courage. The decision itself gives him courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision that something else matters more. When Cortez landed on foreign shores, he burned his ship so that his men could not sail back. They would either conquer or perish. That single act transformed fear into ferocity. They fought as if survival depended on victory, because it did. That is the power of a final decision. You cannot hold faith and fear in the same hand. You cannot chase greatness while leaving an escape route for comfort. Decision demands that you give up one to gain the other. Say this aloud until it vibrates in your bones. I decide once and for all. My will is law. My choice is permanent. Each time you hesitate after this moment, recall that phrase. Let it slice through doubt like fire through paper. The moment you say, I've decided, life reorganizes itself around your command. Do not fear making the wrong choice. A wrong decision made with conviction is superior to perfect hesitation. Action corrects itself. Hesitation never does. Life will redirect the bold, but it will abandon the timid. Most men spend years praying for signs when the answer has been inside them all along. To decide is not to discover, it is to obey what you already know. When you decide, fatigue vanishes, distraction disappears. Your energy returns because confusion has ended. The undecided man scatters himself among 1,000 possibilities. The decided man gathers himself into one unstoppable force. And here's the secret. Decision is spiritual power. When you decide completely, the subconscious begins to build bridges. You cannot see. Coincidences multiply. Opportunities appear. Allies arrive. You call it luck, but it is law, cause, and effect awakened by conviction. Every morning, before you touch your phone or speak to the world, whisper this command. My path is fixed. My purpose is final. My decision is already made. Then move. Act. Speak as if the decision were carved into stone. When people question you, stay silent. The world respects the man who knows where he's going. If you must choose between comfort and conviction, always choose conviction. If you must choose between safety and destiny, always choose destiny. Because comfort will die with you, but conviction will outlive you. Write this creed where you can see it. I will not reconsider. I will not retreat. I will not break faith with my decision. When your mind truly accepts that, hesitation will die. You will stop seeking permission and start producing proof. That is the moment your old life ends and your real one begins. Decide once and for all, then never look back. Because the man who never looks back is the one the world can never stop. There's a power that radiates from a man who knows where he's going. You can feel it before he speaks. It's in the way he walks, the calm behind his eyes, the silence between his words. That power is certainty, the armor of every leader, creator, and conqueror who ever rose above the crowd. Certainty isn't arrogance. It isn't loud. It doesn't need to prove or explain. It simply is. It's the quiet knowing that says, I have already won. The world just hasn't caught up yet. You can spot certainty from across a room. It's magnetic. It pulls attention without asking for it. Because most people are starving for direction, and when they meet someone who carries it effortlessly, they instinctively follow. But here's the truth. Most never learn. Certainty is not gifted. It's trained. It's not inherited. It's built. It's not about having all the answers. It's about refusing to question your purpose. Once you've decided, the average man searches for external proof before he believes in himself. The exceptional man decides first and lets the proof appear later. That's the difference between drifting and destiny. When you wear the armor of certainty, failure can strike but never wound. Criticism can echo, but never penetrate. Doubt can whisper, but it cannot stay. The uncertain man says, I hope this works. The certain man says, it's already working, and life responds accordingly, because life mirrors confidence. It gives power to those who act as though they deserve it. It opens doors for the ones who walk as if they already belong there. Certainty changes your posture. When you stand tall, shoulders back, eyes focused, breathing deep, your body tells your mind, we are safe, we are strong, we are capable. Your mind believes the message your body sends. That's how certainty is installed not just by thought, but by physiology. Every morning, practice this simple ritual. Stand in silence. Breathe slowly. 10 deep breaths. Then say aloud, I am calm. I am sure. I am unshakable. Let your tone match your belief low, steady, absolute. Do not rush. Let your words sink into your body until your voice vibrates with truth. Then move into your day carrying that calm power. Don't announce it. Don't prove it. Just be it. When you speak, pause slightly before each statement. When you walk, walk slower than usual, like a man who commands time, not one chasing it. That's the posture of certainty. People will notice. They'll start treating you differently. Opportunities will seem to appear by coincidence, but it won't be coincidence, it'll be resonance. Because certainty broadcasts a frequency that the world cannot ignore. Yet, to protect that armor, you must also master your inner language. Words are seeds. Every time you say, I don't know if I can, you crack your armor. Every time you say, maybe it won't work, you hand your power to fear. For the next 24 hours, eliminate every word of doubt. No, maybe. No try. No luck. Replace them with I will. I choose. I decide. I know. Your words shape your reality. Guard them like gold. And remember, certainty is not loud confidence. It's quiet authority. The lion doesn't have to roar to remind others he's the king. When you're certain, you don't chase validation. You don't argue with those who doubt you. You understand that opinions don't build empires, decisions do. Think of the great builders of history. Henry Ford wasn't certain because people believed in him. He was certain because he believed in himself. Edison wasn't certain because his inventions worked. His inventions worked because he was certain. The pattern is timeless faith decision, certainty action result. You cannot skip the middle without certainty. Action collapses under pressure. So make this your daily armor. Faith gives you direction. Decision locks the door behind you. Certainty carries you through the storm. Each time you feel doubt rising, pause it. Straighten your back. Breathe deep. Ask yourself, what would the man who already won do right now? Then do that without hesitation. Because certainty isn't found. It's practiced. Every moment you choose confidence over fear, your armor thickens. Every time you act without second guessing, your presence becomes heavier, steadier, unbreakable. By the time most people begin their day, questioning their worth and chasing approval, you'll already be in motion, silent, focused. Sure? And when the world tries to test you, you'll simply smile. Not out of pride, but because you know that storms only sharpen steel. Whisper this creed as you walk through your day. I am calm in chaos. I am certain in doubt. I am unshakable in purpose. That is the armor of kings. That is the shield of creators. And that is the energy of those who act as though failure was never an option. Because when you wear certainty, even destiny must bow. Faith that sits still is only theory. Faith that moves becomes power. You can believe with all your heart. Speak affirmations every morning. Visualize success until your mind glows. But if you never move, the universe remains silent. Action is the voice of belief. It is faith translated into motion. The man who walks toward his goal, even trembling, has already activated a force greater than intellect, greater than circumstance, the law of movement. The great secret is this: heaven helps the feet that move. You don't need the entire path revealed. You need only the first step and the courage to take it. Every bridge you will ever cross appears only after you start walking. The timid man says, "I'll wait until I'm ready." But readiness never comes. Perfection never arrives. Confidence never precedes movement. It follows it. The difference between those who dream and those who live their dreams is simple. One waits for conditions, the other creates them. Faith is not built in comfort. Faith is tested in action, in the small, uncertain steps you take when everything inside you screams, "What if I fail?" That's the very moment you must act, because hesitation feeds fear. But movement starves it. Every morning, before your mind wakes up enough to argue, do one thing that scares you a little. One bold call, one message sent, one step taken toward your definite chief aim. Don't negotiate with your comfort. Move before doubt catches up. I call this the one courageous action rule, the daily proof of your belief, because courage compounds. One act of faith today makes the next act easier tomorrow. Momentum is the oxygen of success, and every act of movement feeds the fire. Do not underestimate small steps. The greatest rivers begin as drops. The grandest buildings start with one brick. Every small motion carries the vibration of creation. And remember, action creates clarity. You don't wait to understand before you act. You act until you understand. Each move forward reveals a piece of the path that standing still could never show you. Life rewards motion, not intention. There are men who spend decades planning, but the one who takes messy, imperfect action in silence will outgrow them all. The subconscious mind loves movement. It learns through repetition, not reflection. Every consistent act you take in alignment with your purpose tells your inner world, "This is who we are now." And your subconscious begins to rewire your habits to match that identity. If you act with faith, even your failures become progress. You may stumble, but the direction remains forward. You may fall, but each fall teaches strength. Movement turns setbacks into stepping stones. The man who keeps walking, even through the fog, discovers that the fog moves with him because it was never blocking the way. It was only waiting for his courage to appear. So from this day forward, make this your creed. I will not think myself into confidence. I will act myself into it. Each morning, ask, what can I do today that proves my belief? Not what can I read, not what can I wish, but what can I do? Faith in motion also means persistence. Keep moving even when no one notices. Keep building when no one claps. The law of accumulation guarantees that every quiet effort compounds into visible triumph. Think of a seed buried underground. No one sees it. No one praises it. But each day, It grows in silence until one morning it breaks the surface. And everyone calls it an overnight miracle. That is how faith in motion works. The world calls it luck. You know it as law. When you act in faith long enough, your energy changes. You attract different people, new opportunities, and unseen allies. Doors that were once closed begin to open. Not because they changed, but because you did. And soon, you look back and realize that every single miracle in your life came disguised as a simple action you almost didn't take. So never underestimate the power of movement. Even one small step today can change the trajectory of your life forever. When fear whispers, wait, move. When doubt says, maybe later, move. When you fail, move again. That's the only way to make faith visible. Say this aloud now, and feel it vibrate in your chest. I act with faith. I move with certainty. I walk as though success were already mine. Say it every morning before the world wakes up. Say it until your muscles respond automatically. Because faith that moves even 1 inch forward each day will one day cross oceans. Remember, the universe doesn't bless hesitation. It blesses momentum. So move, even slowly, even trembling, even alone. Because the moment you move, life moves with you. Every man begins with excitement. Few continue with discipline. And only the rare, the immortal in spirit persist until the world finally bends. The truth is this: the difference between those who almost succeed and those who truly do is not intelligence, talent, or opportunity. It is persistence. It is the decision to stay in motion long after the emotions have faded. Discipline is immortality. Because while feelings die, habits live. The undisciplined man burns bright for a moment, then vanishes. The disciplined man burns slow, steady, unstoppable, and his fire outlives him. When Napoleon Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich, he said it plainly: persistence is to the character of man what carbon is to steel. It is what makes a soul unbreakable. Every dream tests its believer. It will whisper, "Are you still serious?" It will delay results, hide rewards, and send setbacks just to see if your spirit collapses. Most people surrender right before the law of accumulation is about to deliver. They forget that every day of effort compounds in silence. Every hour of work stacks like invisible bricks. Building strength behind the curtain, the wall looks empty until one morning the structure appears complete overnight. But it was never overnight. It was persistence in disguise. Understand, this discipline is not punishment. It is freedom earned. It is the power to do what must be done whether you feel like it or not. When you rely on motivation, you serve your moods. When you rely on discipline, your moods serve you. Success belongs to those who do the work even when inspiration has left the room. It belongs to those who show up again and again until showing up becomes part of who they are. Think of a sculptor striking marble. The first 100 hits show no change. The crowd mocks him, "You're wasting your strength." But the sculptor smiles because he knows the law. Every strike matters. Every strike weakens the stone even when nothing seems to move. Then one day, the marble cracks, not because of the last hit, but because of all the ones before it. That's how life rewards persistence. You can't cheat the grind. You can't skip repetition. You can't avoid the seasons of monotony, the quiet days when no one sees, no one claps, No one believes. Those are the sacred days that forge immortality. While others rest in comfort, you sharpen your edge while they drift. You build while they talk. You act. And slowly, the universe starts to respect your discipline. Doors open that once refused to budge. Opportunities chase you instead of you chasing them, because life always bends to the one who refuses to stop knocking. Persistence is spiritual stamina. It's proof that you have aligned your will with a higher order. Every morning you rise early. Every time you work in silence. Every time you conquer laziness, you are sending a signal: I am ready. I am committed. I will not leave the field. Do this long enough, and life will kneel to your consistency. But there's a warning. Discipline without purpose turns to misery. You must attach your persistence to a definite aim, something that awakens your soul. Otherwise, you'll grind without meaning and mistake exhaustion for progress. So decide what you want and give it time. Time is not your enemy. Inconsistency is. Remember, the same sun that melts wax hardens clay. Time will either strengthen you or destroy you, depending on what you're made of. Make a contract with yourself today, a vow that says, no matter how long it takes, I continue until I conquer. Write it, sign it, keep it visible, because there will be mornings when you'll need that reminder. Days when doubt will whisper, it's not working. That's when you must say back, it's working, you just can't see it yet. The man who persists becomes immortal because he refuses to die where others quit. He keeps rising not because it's easy, but because it's who he is. Persistence builds character, and character builds destiny. Each repetition strengthens your faith. Each act of discipline builds invisible muscles of success. Soon, what was once difficult becomes natural, automatic, effortless. You will know you've mastered discipline when action no longer requires motivation. It becomes identity. You'll no longer say, I must try. You'll say, this is what I do. Because consistency transforms desire into destiny, it makes greatness predictable. It turns faith into fact. So begin today. Keep your chain unbroken one day. One task, one promise at a time. Mark an X for each day you keep your vow. Don't let the chain break. And when it does, rebuild it the next day. That's how immortality is forged, not in perfection, but in persistence. Say this aloud now. I continue until I conquer. I persist until the world yields. Because the world has no defense against a man who refuses to stop. And when your body grows weary, let your spirit speak. I was not built to quit. I was built to endure. Remember, talent may start the race, but discipline finishes it. And the man who finishes lives forever. No man ever rose to greatness alone. Every empire, every invention, every fortune you see behind it stood a circle of minds united by a single vision. This is the brotherhood of power, the invisible alliance that multiplies the strength of one into the force of many. Napoleon Hill called it the mastermind principle. It is not merely partnership. It is the blending of minds until they form a third WW, greater mind, a collective intelligence, a spiritual compound of energy and purpose. When two or more people come together in perfect harmony, with faith and definiteness of purpose, their combined vibration creates something that transcends both. Ideas begin to appear out of nowhere. Courage multiplies. Obstacles that seemed immovable dissolve as if the universe itself leans in to help. That is not coincidence. That is law. Because energy aligns with energy, and faith attracts its own kind. But here's the tragedy. Most people never experience this power because they choose their company by convenience, not by consciousness. They surround themselves with people who drain their fire, mock their dreams, and normalize mediocrity, and slowly, they begin to believe that greatness is impossible, not because it is, but because no one around them believes it's possible. Your environment is either fertilizer or poison. Every conversation is an exchange of energy. You are either being fed or being drained. You cannot rise while tethered to those who are comfortable sinking. So, perform an audit of your circle. Ask yourself, who makes me believe more deeply in myself? Who challenges me to rise higher? Who vibrates at the frequency of vision, growth, and excellence? Keep those few, protect that connection like sacred fire, and release the rest with gratitude. It is not cruelty, it is necessity. Every man needs 3 circles. 1, the core 3, the ones who believe in your vision, even when you doubt yourself. They are your mirror when your faith flickers. Their energy reignites yours. 2, the growth 5, those who stretch you. They may not be close friends, but their standards pull you upward. Watch how they move, how they speak, how they live. Learn from their example. 3, the learning 10 mentors, authors, and thinkers whose ideas expand your mind even if you never meet them. Read them. Listen to them. Let their words shape your blueprint. When you surround yourself with these levels of influence, your thinking evolves, your standards rise, and soon you find yourself operating at a level that the old version of you could never have imagined. But be warned, harmony is sacred. You cannot build power in an atmosphere of jealousy, gossip, or resentment. True brotherhood is built on mutual respect, shared vision, and the absence of ego. If one member of the circle begins to doubt or envy, the vibration breaks, and so does the power. That's why ancient kings and modern magnates alike chose their inner circles with the same caution a general chooses his army. You must do the same. When you find even one person whose belief matches yours, you have found treasure. When you find 3, you have found destiny. Meet regularly, even for a few minutes each week. Speak your goals aloud. State your progress. Declare your next step. Hold each other accountable, not through judgment, but through faith. Every time you share your purpose with a like-minded soul, your belief doubles in strength. Because energy reinforced becomes reality accelerated. This is why loneliness kills potential, because isolation amplifies doubt, and it is why the right company creates miracles, because unity amplifies faith. Look at history. Edison had his team of experimenters. Ford had his circle of industrial giants. Carnegie had his master alliance of minds that shaped industries and fortunes. Each of them understood that one mind alone is limited, but 2 minds, united in harmony, tap into the infinite. You must build your own brotherhood of power, even if it begins with only you and one other person who refuses to drift. Talk about ideas, not people. Discuss vision, not circumstance. Build faith, not fear. And if you can't find your circle yet, become it. Become the person so focused so certain, so unwavering in purpose that others of the same energy are drawn to you. Like attracts like. Faith attracts faith. Winners find each other through the frequency of decision. Say this aloud now. I walk with minds that multiply my strength. My circle builds empires. My faith attracts power. Let that be your vow. Because the moment you choose alignment over approval, life begins to introduce you to your real allies, the few who will build the future beside you. And when that circle is formed, protect it as sacred ground. Feed it with truth. Nourish it with gratitude. Guard it with silence. For within that brotherhood, your dreams gain momentum. Your belief gains muscle, and your destiny gains speed. Never forget, one man with faith is powerful, but a group of men with faith, united by purpose, becomes unstoppable. That is the brotherhood of power, and it's waiting for you to claim your place among it. Everything you will ever build in the physical world is first constructed in the invisible workshop of your mind. Before the skyscraper, there was a sketch. Before the empire, there was a vision. Before the victory, there was belief. Your mind is a theater, and every scene you rehearse within it becomes a preview of what will one day appear in your reality. The tragedy is that most people let fear direct the film. They project failure, rejection, embarrassment, and scarcity. And then they wonder why life keeps replaying those same scenes. What you rehearse, you realize. What you picture, you produce. The great builders of history understood this. Carnegie, Ford, Edison, they didn't see the world as it was. They saw it as it could be. And they lived inside that mental movie long before others could see the screen. They didn't visualize to escape reality. They visualized to create it. The mind is the only place where you can build without limitation. There are no budgets, no critics, no delays, only imagination, vivid and unrestrained. Every night before you sleep, the theater opens. And the question is, what show will you play? Will it be a rerun of fear and failure, or will it be a private screening of your greatness? You must become the director, not the audience. You must choose the script, the music, the lighting, the emotion. Because your subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's vividly imagined and what's physically experienced, it records both as truth. That is the law of visualization. When you imagine vividly, you plant seeds of reality. And the more emotion you attach to that image, the faster it takes root. Every morning, close your eyes for 2 minutes. See your definite chief aim as already complete. Feel the pride of achievement. Hear the applause of victory. Smell the air of success. Touch the texture of the life you've built. Don't watch it like a stranger, live inside it. Make it as real as this moment. That's not fantasy. That's rehearsal. You are training your nervous system to accept success as normal. You are giving your subconscious a command, this is who I am. Make it happen. And here's what happens next. Your behavior begins to align automatically. Your tone changes. Your habits shift. Your posture improves. Your energy draws opportunities that match the image within. You begin to attract circumstances that confirm your inner picture, not because magic happens, but because you have become magnetic. That's the real law of attraction. Not wishing, not waiting, but programming your mind so deeply with conviction that everything in your external world has no choice but to reflect it. Each night before sleep, Hold one image. Don't force it. Just see it. Feel it. And fall asleep believing it's already yours. That's when the subconscious, your silent architect, begins its greatest work. It reorganizes thoughts, shifts attitudes, opens intuition, and prepares the path you'll walk tomorrow. And when you wake, the world begins to meet you halfway. Guard your mental theater. Do not let fear buy a ticket. Do not let gossip, news, or negativity take a seat. Protect your imagination as fiercely as you'd protect your most valuable treasure, because it is your most valuable treasure. Feed it with the right material. Watch things that uplift. Read words that expand. Listen to voices that speak truth and vision. Because every impression you allow in becomes a prop on your mental stage. Ask yourself often, who's directing my mind right now? Me or the world? If it's not you, take back the seat. Pick up the pen. Rewrite the script. You are not here to replay yesterday's film. You are here to premiere something extraordinary. Remember, thoughts are blueprints. Words are commands. Images are the language of the subconscious. And repetition is how the universe learns your intentions. So repeat the scene until it becomes instinct. Repeat it until your body reacts as if it were already real. Repeat it until reality has no choice but to keep up. Say this aloud now. With quiet conviction, I live my victory now. I walk as though it has already happened. That's not pretending. That's creating. Edison saw the light long before it burned. Ford saw the car long before it moved. You must see your future self so vividly that the world begins to recognize him before you even arrive. Don't wait for permission to imagine greatness. Don't wait for evidence to believe. The mind that dares to dream boldly will always be miles ahead of the man waiting for proof. So tonight, when you close your eyes, step into your mental theater, dim the lights, take the lead role, and live the scene of the life you've chosen, not someday, but now, because the moment you start believing it in your mind, the world begins building it in your name. Fear is the greatest thief of human potential. It steals dreams in silence. It whispers before every bold step, disguising itself as reason, safety, or common sense. But behind every excuse, every hesitation, every unfulfilled desire, you will always find fear hiding in the shadows. And here is the truth. Fear does not exist in the world. It exists only in the mind. It is imagination turned against you, creative power used in reverse. The man who fears has forgotten that he is the one creating the picture. He paints disaster in his mind, then trembles before his own art. Fear is faith facing the wrong direction. It is belief in failure instead of belief in success. It uses the same mental tools, imagination, emotion, focus, but aims them at defeat. The good news, if you can imagine fear, you can also imagine courage, because both are born from the same source, your mind. When you understand that, fear begins to lose its grip. You realize it's not an enemy to run from, but a signal to rise to. Fear appears right before every level of growth. It stands guard at the door to your next version. And the moment you walk through it, it disappears like smoke in sunlight. Fear cannot live in motion. It feeds on hesitation, analysis, and delay. The longer you stare at it, the larger it grows. But when you step forward, even trembling, fear starves. So from this day forward, make this your law. Do the thing you fear every single day. Start small. If you fear speaking, speak. If you fear rejection, ask. If you fear failure, act anyway. Because repetition kills fear faster than courage ever could. Remember, fear is only a pattern, a reflex built from past pain. It cannot predict your future unless you let it. There are 6 basic fears that rule most lives: fear of poverty, fear of criticism, fear of ill health, fear of loss of love, fear of old age, fear of death. Every other fear grows from these roots, and every one of them is imaginary until you give it power. The man who masters these 6 masters life, let's face each of them together. Fear of poverty, the illusion that money defines your worth. But wealth begins in the mind, not the wallet. When you act with abundance, you attract it. Fear of criticism, the fear of being misunderstood by people who don't even understand themselves. Greatness is always lonely at first. The crowd laughs until they need your help. Fear of ill health, the mind that worries itself sick. Remember, your body listens to every thought you think. Choose thoughts of strength, and the body follows. Fear of loss of love, born from attachment. Not faith. Love that demands possession is not love, but control. Real love grows stronger through freedom. Fear of old age, the belief that your best years are behind you. But wisdom is power refined. The man who grows older in purpose grows younger in spirit. Fear of death, the ultimate illusion. No soul ever dies. It only changes form. Energy cannot be destroyed, and you are energy. Now ask yourself, which of these fears has been controlling your life the longest? Write it down. Look at it and say, I created you, and I can uncreate you. You are not your fear. You are the awareness watching it. And awareness dissolves illusion. Each morning, list one small fear and destroy it with action before the day ends. That's your training ground, your 30-day fear list. Each victory rewires your brain to expect courage instead of panic. And soon, something incredible happens. The same situations that once triggered anxiety will start to trigger confidence. You'll begin to feel power rising where fear once lived. Your energy changes. Your eyes sharpen. Your voice steadies. People will sense it not because you boast, but because calm strength cannot be faked. Fear dies when faith grows louder. It cannot survive in the same mind that declares, I decide my destiny. Say this aloud now. I am not afraid. I cannot lose. Because I refuse to surrender. Say it until your body believes it. Until the trembling stops. Until your heart beats steady with certainty. Because fear is only a shadow, and a shadow cannot exist without your light. So keep moving toward the light, toward belief, toward purpose, toward action. The darkness will always shrink behind you, and one day you'll look back and realize the truth. Fear never held you back. It only revealed how powerful you were meant to be. So bury it, burn it, outgrow it. Because the man who kills fear even once never lives the same again. He walks with quiet power, unshakable faith, and an energy that tells the world, I have faced myself and I have won. For 30 days, just 30 days, erase the word failure from your vocabulary. Erase it from your thoughts, your speech, your imagination. For 30 days, live as if success is the only possible outcome. This is the no failure protocol. And if you obey it completely, it will rewire your mind faster than any book. course or philosophy ever could, because 30 days of absolute faith will do what 30 years of hesitation never can. Here's how it works. It's not theory, it's a discipline, a spiritual experiment, and a test of will. For the next 30 days, you will live as if the word defeat has been deleted from reality. You will speak, act, and think only in terms of victory, growth, and progress. You will treat every setback as data, every obstacle as training, every delay as divine timing. And above all, you will refuse to retreat. Morning, command the day. When you open your eyes, before you check your phone, before you think about what needs to be done, sit up straight, breathe deep, and say aloud, for me, failure does not exist. Everything works in my favor. I am unstoppable. I am unbreakable. I am already winning. Let your tone carry conviction, not hope, not doubt, but certainty, because your subconscious listens to tone, not words. Then visualize your day exactly as you want it to unfold. See yourself calm, focused, efficient. Imagine tasks flowing easily, people cooperating, opportunities appearing. Hold that image for 60 seconds. Then rise and move as though that image were already a fact. That's how a day of victory begins. Midday act before thinking by noon. Your energy will be tested, doubt will whisper, fear will try to return. That's when you practice the law of faith in motion act before fear finishes its sentence. Send the message, make the call, take the step. Even small movement reinforces your new identity. When you feel hesitation, repeat silently, I act before I overthink, and move. You will notice your confidence doesn't come before action. It comes after. That's the law of the fearless. Evening audit the day. At night, before sleep, write 3 lines. What did I do right today? What did I learn from today's resistance? What will I improve tomorrow? Then write this affirmation at the bottom of the page. I do not stop. I do not retreat. I do not fail. Read it out loud. Let your voice be the last command your mind hears before rest. This is how you end your day as a builder, not a victim. Weekly reset, review the proof every 7 days. Take 15 minutes to review your notes. You will see patterns, courage where fear used to be, focus where distraction used to live, progress where doubt once stood. You will realize that failure was never real. It was just your old mindset disguised as truth. You will start to notice something powerful. Coincidences multiplying. People showing up at the right moment. Ideas connecting effortlessly. That's not luck. It's alignment. When your mind declares, I cannot fail, the world begins to agree. The golden rule of the protocol. For 30 days, ban 3 words from your language. Maybe, try, hope. Replace them with I will, I decide, I complete. Because language is leadership and your words are orders to your subconscious. Speak only what you want, multiplied. If someone asks, what if it doesn't work? Smile and answer. What if it already has? You are not debating reality. You are declaring it, handling setbacks. Setbacks will come. That's their job. They exist to test the strength of your new identity. When they appear, don't say, I failed. Say, I'm adjusting. Every error becomes refinement. every delay becomes direction. Remember, a pilot doesn't quit when off course he corrects. Do the same. Stay in motion. Persistence is perfection in disguise. After 30 days, something extraordinary happens. Your old fear response fades. Your inner dialogue transforms. You start to operate from faith automatically, not because you force it, but because it has become who you are. The man who completes 30 days without entertaining the idea of failure will never think the same way again. He will have crossed the invisible threshold between trying to win and expecting to win from that day forward. His words carry weight, his presence commands respect, and his results inevitable. This is not motivation, it is transformation. Because you have built a new default setting certainty, so begin today, right now. This is day one of the no failure protocol. Say it aloud, not as a wish, but as law. For the next 30 days, I will live as if failure does not exist. I am the cause, not the effect. I am the creator, not the victim. I move forward with faith, and the universe moves with me. Then take your first step, any step, and don't stop for 30 days. Treat every challenge as proof that the old you is dying and the new you is being born. Because the man who lives 30 days without the idea of failure becomes the man who never fails again. You've spent your life preparing for this moment, the moment you finally stop entertaining failure and start commanding success. Because now you understand the truth. Failure was never real. It was only a thought, a habit of hesitation, a story you repeated until you believed it. But that story ends today. You've learned the law of absolute belief, the furnace of desire, the power of decision, confidence, action, persistence, unity, imagination, and above all, the death of fear. This isn't just philosophy. It's a system, a code for living proven by every man who refused to quit. Ford, Edison, Lincoln, Carnegie, and Hill. Now, it's your turn. For the next 30 days, live as though failure never existed. Speak with certainty. Walk with conviction. Move with power. When fear whispers, answer with faith. When doubt rises, answer with action. Say to yourself every morning, I have already won. And let that truth echo through every step you take. The world doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards those who decide. And the man who acts like failure was never an option becomes unstoppable. So decide right now to become that man. Join the movement. Subscribe to this channel, not for motivation, but for transformation. Every week, we build the mind that builds the empire. Because success isn't found, it's created one belief, one decision, one action at a time. Act like failure was never an option, and you'll soon discover it never was.